new exhibition. This is called Seeing the Light, to be interpreted in several different ways, of course, and partly it's to do with the tenor of the times, the awareness of how COVID-19 has affected people all over the world and the environment too. Also, it's very much to do with the artists in this exhibition's interpretation of the way they see light, which in fact all in very different ways. Sheppard, though born a Yorkshireman, has lived down in West Penwith for many a year now, and he captures the mood of the place, the mood of the changing weather, very particularly emphasised in this painting, Storm Force, where you see the waves crashing about the rocks. And over here on the easel, a gentler scene but very dramatic. This is called Moonlight, where the light just catches the rocks against the dark background. This painting of Michael's, Evening Light por Square, is a wonderful example of his technique of stumbling, which is the effect you achieve through layers of darker paint and then much lighter dabs of colour on top. And these give a total luminosity to the whole painting. Sutton Taylor is a most ingenious potter, and he works in a way which is quite different from his contemporaries. Having in the mid-late 70s discovered the amazing art of lustreware, which originated in Mesopotamia in the 9th century, his enthusiasm for tackling this very, very difficult technique has really led him throughout his career until he's completely perfected now this very, very tricky medium. This beautiful bottle by Sutton Taylor, such a perfect shape that he has thrown here, has the most gorgeous gleaming Cornish sea colours in it. A really perfect pot. These gently hued pots of Sutton's complement beautifully Michael's paintings on this wall. He's achieved the most marvellous nuances of shade of coral and yellow and silver, and that wonderful combination that's so Tuscan, really. Rita Seres is a necklace maker with a wonderful sense of colour juxtaposition. She travels to many distant lands seeking out beads, often ancient ones, and amulets to create these necklaces. Her recent visit to Morocco has resulted in a lot of the necklaces you see in the case here today. Royle is a master craftsman working in silver and gold and semi-precious stones. In this collection he's used Peruvian pink opal in this necklace here, amazonite here, and this beautiful necklace at the back has got garnets, and he's carved the drops on both sides differently, so it's a reversible necklace. And this brooch actually shows the intricacy of his work and the way he superimposes the gold on the silver. This dramatic mixed media painting by Saul Kaskart is called I Wait, and it's based on Boscastle. Saul was brought up on the wild north coast, and he always paints outdoors, so he's a plein air painter, and he tends to revel in atmospheric weather rather than bright sun. So when it's misty, when it's raining, those are the times that he likes to capture what the subject looks like. He uses pencil and paints and many different media to create this effect. This collection here is by Laurel Keeley. She pots in stoneware, and having recently moved out of Exeter, where she had her studio for many, many years, she's now in a little village in the country and is entranced by the landscape around her, which she's using in this collection as the basis of her decoration. She's been observing through the different seasons the way the light catches the furrows in the fields, the rows of crops, the hedge lines, etc. I think her work generally very much reflects the marks and the colours in Saul Cathcart's paintings, which is why I selected both of them for this particular room. These three little oil paintings here on panels are by Lesley Birch. She's a Scot, but she lives in York and constantly returns to the Scottish Isles for much of her subject matter, as well as coming down to Cornwall actually. And you can see how beautifully wild this painting is, this interpretation. She calls it The Wind, and really does feel as though the wind's blowing across the landscape. She uses broad strokes, totally energetic and full of life. One could hardly have an exhibition about light without including glass, I thought. And here we have the glasswork of Andrew Saunders and David Wallace, who both work up Hebden Bridge in Yorkshire. They make beautifully formed wine glasses, completely free blown, which is quite an art, as well as more decorative bowls and so on, more of which we've got on the other side of the room. As we have some of Nigel Lambert's domestic pottery, as well as the glassware, I couldn't resist doing a tabletop display, and as a backdrop to the table you'll see some of John Maltby's inimitable small sculptures. In this cabinet we have Sarah Drew's treasure chest of jewellery. She originates from York, but she has lived down near St Austell on the Cornish south coast for several years now, and she does a lot of beach combing, finding stones, old rubbed plastic, bits of wood, bleached bone, seagrass, etc., all of which she incorporates into her very striking necklaces and bangles and rings. She also uses eco silver, so it's a question really of observing the dangers of mining and the pressure upon the landscape of mining new metals all the time. Helen Nock is a sculptor working near Bristol in an old quarry, and for this exhibition she's made 3 slate-topped tables, the slate coming from quarries in Delabole in Cornwall. She often includes as motifs in her work a flying bird and inlays them with mosaics of glass and shards of pottery and various other found objects to give them all their own individual character. Thank you all for walking around the exhibition with me. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Do remember that it will be online very soon, and it's open till the end of October. So if you possibly can visit, we'd love to see you.